Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to start with the new chapter of your history, that is the French Revolution. As you can see here on the slide, we are going to start with the French Revolution. Before we start the chapter, children, first of all, you should know about this in a short form of a story, like why the French Revolution had taken place, what were the reasons. In detail we'll do later, but in short I'll just try to tell you about the revolution or why it happened. First of all, we all know that France is a European country, and in those days European countries were very rich. When we are talking about before the First World War, all the European countries were very rich. And at that time there used to be race among these countries to acquire more and more lands. There involved many countries like Germany also, France also, Britain also. All were having a race, because in those days if you have more land, that means you are more powerful. So in this race France was also there, and it also have occupied and acquired many lands, and it was involved in many wars with many countries. While doing so, because whenever there is a war in any country, there will be lack of resources, because most of the resources have to be diverted towards the war. So when it happens, there will be lack of resources in the country, especially the food resources will be diverted towards the army or the military. So there will be scarcity of these resources. The same thing happened with the France also. It was involved in so many wars that there was not even bread to eat in the country. Even if it was there, the cost of the bread was very high. So there was a situation in France which we call it as completely a crisis, a famine also, where the people die due to the lack of food and other resources, other basic necessities of the life. And also we call it as subsistence crisis also. So this was the situation in France at that time, when the new king was emerged over there, whose name is Louis XVI, we call him as, who is from a Bourbon family. When he became a king of France, because there was monarchy system there at that time, when he became king, he saw that the treasure of the country, that is the country's treasure, the government's treasure, that was empty, because the whole money was used by the other kings in the war. So it was empty. So now the king had to do something to get back the money. So he planned that he will increase the taxes. And in those days, in European countries, there used to be a system which we are going to discuss in the chapter also very detailed, which is called as feudal system. Feudal lords were there, feudal system was there, where only the rich people, that is we call them as the three estates people, the first estate, second estate, we are going to discuss it. So that means in a society, the society was divided into three categories. The first two categories had not to pay the taxes, but the third category had to pay the taxes. So that was the main problem or the issue in the country. So who were there in the third estate? Third estate, there were the professionals, like the people, those who used to work in the offices, professionals like maybe the lecturers, teachers, all these people, then the workers who were working in the industries or the laborers, all of them were included in the third estate. So only they had to pay the taxes, not the first and the second estate. So that is the reason. And the third estate were not given any rights in the country. They could not even vote. So these are the few reasons that why there was a French Revolution in the France. So we actually, that is the only the introductory part, a small part which I wanted to you to know that. So, and when there was a French Revolution, these terms we are going to do in again later on in detail, that is liberty, equality, fraternity. These were the terms coined at that time during the French Revolution, which we in India, that is our own constitution, Indian constitution, we also have taken these terms from the inspiring from the French constitution. So that again we'll do later. So what we are going to do here in this chapter is French society during late 18th century. Then we are going to do how the revolution broke out, outbreak of the revolution, how France has become a republic, then how the role of Jacobins. Jacobins is the name of a person who started some clubs in that country. We'll do this. Then at the end of the chapter we have also about the Napoleon, abolition of slavery, and then role of women in the French society. These are the topics which we are going to cover, children. So now we are going to do, that is the French Revolution timeline, that is different periods, what all has taken place, that we are going to do in 1789. Before this, a series of social and political tensions built within France before being unleashed by a financial crisis in 1780s. This is what I told you, that before 1789 the kings of France were involved in many wars, because of which there was a financial crisis in the country. The treasure was empty. Between 1789 to 91, the Estate General is called, but instead of bowing to the king, it takes radical action, declaring itself a legislative assembly and seizing sovereignty. It starts tearing down the old regime and creating a new France. That is, during this period you will see that there were changes in the society. As I told you, the taxes were increased in the society. The third estate had to pay the taxes, and the third estate people thought of revolting and forming a legislative assembly of their own. So in 1792 a second revolution occurred. That is, in 1789 there was the first revolution, and in 1792 there was a second revolution. So at that time again a Jacobins club, they have revolted. That we'll do again. After that there was then the foreign enemies attacking from outside the France, that took place. Then there was a directory created and put in charge of France. That is, a few more governments were there after the Jacobins club who tried to rule the country, France, but they were not very successful. There were often changes in that government. Then we are also going to do about the Napoleon Bonaparte in the end of the chapter, who again taken the power in the country and who again started the dictatorship. In one way he started the dictatorship. So that is what we are going to continue in the last part. So we are starting with the first part, that is, before I start with the French society during the late 18th century, I would like to quote a small story over here, that is, on the morning of 14th July 1789, the city of Paris was in a state of alarm. The king had commanded troops to move into the city. That is, one morning, that is on 14th July, this is a very important date, children. 14th July 1789, the whole Paris, which is in France, the capital of France, whole Paris was very much afraid. There was an alarm, they were afraid because there was a rumor spread in the city. The rumor was, what was the rumor? That is, the people spread rumor among themselves. The rumor was that the king, he had sent his troops to kill the people in Paris, and that is open the fire among the people of Paris, especially the poor ones. And some seventh, because of that, the people were afraid and they thought of revolting against the king. So what did the people do? By listening to these rumors, people gathered together, around 7,000 men, women. They all gathered in front of the town hall and decided to form a people's militia. The 7,000 women and men gathered and they thought of forming their own military. Militia means their own military they will form. These people, they also broke into a number of government buildings in search of arms. What did they do? Because there was a rumor that the king is going to kill the citizens here, especially the poor ones, and so and also the people thought that they will attack a prison where they heard that there are hoarded ammunition. Hoarded means they are being somewhere hided. So they thought that there are a lot of hoarded ammunition, that is guns, etc., weapons in the prison. So they thought of attacking that prison. So these people all together, they gathered near the government buildings in search of arms. Finally, when they searched so many buildings, they could not find. So they thought of attacking a prison, which is called as Fortress Prison. This Fortress Prison's name is Bastille. Children, you have to remember this name. The prison's name is Bastille. So they attacked that prison. They ransacked rather the prison. They have broken the prison almost, broken all the walls of the prison in hope to find these hoarded arms or the ammunition. But they did not find any of the arms or the ammunition. At that time, taking the advantage, some of even the prisoners, they were released from the prison. They rather ran away from the prison. In this fight, when the people attacked that prison, the commander of the Bastille, he got killed. That is the in charge of the Bastille prison. He was killed in this attack by the people on the prison. And this Bastille, that is the fortress prison, it was disliked by the people. People never liked this prison because many innocent people were put in the prison for many years and they were treated very harshly. So people disliked this prison. That is also one reason that they have attacked upon this prison. This fortress was demolished, this prison was demolished, and the straw fragments were sold in the market. That is, the pieces of that rocks or that building, the rocks and the buildings and all those fragments, they were all sold at a very high price in the market. Some of them, they kept these rocks as a souvenir to remember that they kept with them. There were more riots taking place in Paris and in the villages also. When the other people of this country, France, they heard that in Paris there was a revolt and people attacked the Bastille, that has inspired even the other people, even in the villages, and they attacked upon them. Most of them were protesting against the high price of bread. Most of the people here. What was the main reason for protest? As I told you in the beginning, there was no bread also in the country properly, even if it was available. The price of the bread was very high. So, people were protesting against the high price of the bread. These all events led to the execution of the king in France. When this revolt took place, finally the king was held and he was executed, he was killed. So that is the beginning of the chapter, children, that this is a small incidence of the revolt, that how the revolt had taken place in France and one reason that why it had taken place. So now we'll do this, the first part, how and why did this happen, from the first part, that is French society during the 18th century. How was the society in the 18th century? How was it divided? At that time in France, there was monarchy. What is monarchy, children? We all know that monarchy means the rule of king, king or queen. So in those days in European countries there was monarchy. So at that time, it is not only in France, in most of the European countries, the whole society was divided into three categories. Now what were those three categories, children? The three categories are, we call them as the first estate, second estate and third estate. So first estate included the clergy. Now who are the clergy here? The clergy means the people who are rich in the society, wealthy people, for example the owners of the big industries, they were the clergies. They enjoyed enormous wealth and privileges. Privileges means some special provisions were given to them because they were very rich people. They were given some special provisions. They owned about 10% of the land. They collected the tithes, which we will do later. They collected the taxes and they never paid any taxes. Only that they provided some social service, not that much, but little bit they used to provide social service to the king and some of the people, but they never paid any taxes. And the second estate we have nobility. They owned the land but had little money or income. They hated absolutism, feared losing traditional privilege, especially exemption from taxes. Even the nobles, they were the category like clergies. They never used to pay any taxes at all. They were also getting some privileges from the king. Coming to the third estate, it includes the working class people which I told you, like all the professionals, whether they were the lawyers or whether they were the lecturers or the teachers or whosoever it is, or the engineers, workers, all of them, even the peasants, especially the poorer ones, peasants, all of them, they were not getting any privileges. Rather, they had to pay the taxes. So two categories, they were the tax collectors And the third estate people, they were the payers of the tax. So the society was unevenly distributed. It was not distributed equally. Okay, so I hope you have followed these three estates. So before I again jump into these three estates categories, we have here a slide you can see over here. When I talk about the clergy, it is mainly the church, the members or the owners of the church or the preachers in the church. So at that time, the first estate included these preachers in the church who were very, very rich because they owned the largest amount of the lands and a large amount of wealth with them. And the king also used to bow down his head before these clergies. So that much privileges they used to have. Second estate, the nobles, that is the people, those who worked with the king, those who were very rich, the owners of the industries. Third estate, as I have told you already, the workers and the peasants who were there. So legally, the first two estates enjoyed the privileges and the third estate had to pay the taxes. The third estate, you can see here, there is a picture also. They were not only that they had to pay the taxes, they were also treated as slaves in one way. They had to serve the first and the second estate. So whatever the orders were given by the first and second estate, they had to serve them. So this is the cartoon from the era of French Revolution, which depicts the third estate as a person in chains who supports the clergy and nobility on his back. So you can see that he is in chains. That means he has to work under these two clergy, that is two estate people, clergy and the nobles. So that is the cartoon over there, which you can see, I think, even in your book also, children. Before we go for this, the type of taxes and all, we are further discussing about the society, French society. In 1774, Louis XVI of the Bourbon family, he became the king of France. He became king when he was just 20 years old and he married an Austrian princess, Marie Antoinette. Austria, it is not Australia, children. Austria is one of the European country again. When he became king, he found an empty treasury as there was long years of war. Under Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy, Britain. We are talking about the America. Once upon a time, even America was under the rule of Britain, and at that time it is the France who helped America to gain independence. So a large amount of treasure was empty. It was used in the war. For example, in war, 2 billion livres was wasted and France was in debt. That means it had used so much of money in the war that it had to take loans from the other countries. Those who gave loan to France started asking for an interest of 10%. The countries which gave the loan to them, to the France, they wanted the interest rate of 10% and they wanted their loans back. To meet these expenses, such as cost of maintaining army, court, etc., France needed money and they had to pay the loan which they have taken. So for that purpose, taxes were increased. And as we have already done, only members of the third estate, they had to pay the taxes, which we have done right now. So the society of the estates was part of the feudal system which we have discussed just now. Now we come to this part which is shown, the slide is shown over there, that is which type of taxes the third estate had to pay. There were two types of taxes in the country, in France. One is called as tithe and the other one is taille. So what is tithe and taille? First of all, who collected the taxes? It is the church who collected the taxes known as tithes. Now tithes means, or tithe means, it is 1/10 of the agricultural produce. Whatever a farmer used to produce, out of that 1/10 of the produce had to be given to the church. So every farmer, whatever they used to produce, that is, so they one kind of tax is the farmers, they had to pay to the church. Second type of tax is taille, that is, it is the tax paid to the government. It is tax paid to the government on all the products, articles or the products. For example, if they were using salt, they had to pay the tax. If they were using the tobacco, they had to pay the tax. So whatever products were available in the market, whatever they used to buy, for on that also they had to pay the tax. And the taxes were collected and enjoyed by the clergy and the nobility. So this is how the society was divided into several categories, because of which there was revolution in the country, because there were no rights given to the third estate, and all the privileges, all the facilities, provisions, they were given only to the first and second estate. So now you can imagine that why there was revolution in France. So this is the main reason that there was revolution in the France. We come to the first part, these cause of revolution, children. I have done. It is, you can see here, I have made something for you which is interesting. You can see there is absolute monarchy, growth of new ideas, etc., tax burden on the third estate. Okay, the nobles had to collect the taxes, growth of industry and the rise of the middle class. All these topics we are going to cover. Growing burden of feudal dues, increasing poverty. These are all the causes of the revolt. It's not only one cause was there. The most important cause is the paying the taxes. The third estate had to pay the taxes without any rights, and also the lack of bread in the society. These are the two main causes of the revolt. Other than that, then we'll discuss about these points also, like in how the educated class emerged in France and how the people's views started changing in the country. Okay. Children, I'll do 1.1 and then stop here. In 1.1, we have the struggle to survive. That is, the people of France were struggling to survive because of lack of bread and the high prices of the bread. So the population of France increased during that time, due to which there was demand for more food grains. production was less, so the prices of bread increased, because of which the many majority of the poor people were not able to get the food. Most workers were employed as laborers in shops whose owners fixed the wages. The wages were very, very low. Even a worker who is working in a maybe in a factory or in a shop, their wages were very low. Wages were low, and that is why there was so much of gap in the society between the rich and the poor. That time, because they had to pay the taxes also, the workers and the peasants, at that time there was a situation called as subsistence crisis. When drought reduced the harvest, because the farmers are dependent on the rainfall, that year there was no rain, because of which the farmers had no crop, and there was a subsistence crisis. That means a situation where even the basic means of livelihood were endangered. There was no basic, even that is the basic food, shelter, clothing also was not there with the poor people. So that situation is called as the subsistence crisis. I am repeating how a subsistence crisis happens. When there is a drought or flood, there is a bad harvest, there is lack of bread, which will lead to diseases or epidemics. So there will be, again I am repeating, if there is less harvest, there will be scarcity of grains. When there is scarcity of grains, when anything is less in the market, the prices are high. So there will be rising food prices. The poor can no longer buy the bread. They will become weak, or there may be riots also. That is, they may go and attack the shops and loot the shops. And if they don't get food for many days, they will be definitely be ill. So they may get some diseases or epidemics, and that may lead to a large number of deaths, which we also called as famine. So this is the main one of the reasons again for revolution. So today I am stopping this, children. Please go through the video again and again. If you have not followed, you can message me on my PC. Have a good day, students.